It's everyone's dream to become a crypto millionaire, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to do this with Cardano. So in today's video, we're going to be going over my Cardano Millionaire portfolio. If you didn't see last week's episode, I do post these every single Monday, and if you want to stay tuned for those, make sure you subscribe or check out the playlist link down in the description to see what's happened so far in this portfolio. First things first, on this millionaire portfolio, I will be staking my ADA to earn more ADA every 5 days, and I'll be doing that with the Jack stake pool. So just gonna throw that out there. You can do that as well. Definitely stake your ADA. And last week we covered this portfolio. I was at 97,000 in NFTs, 23,000 in tokens, and 55,000 ADA in ADA. And then over here, about 178,000 in total ADA. And as we can see, this hasn't changed too much in ADA valuations, but my NFTs and my tokens has kind of shifted a bit. One went down, one went up in a sense. And it has been pretty solid. Nothing too much has changed. I didn't really make any big additions or subtractions from my NFT side of the portfolio, which I do plan on selling off some to weight back into more ADA and tokens to make it a bit more even. But so far, things are still looking pretty good. And if we switch over to USD mode, which has been added to Pokey now, by the way, the link for Pokey is down in the description. I do have a lifetime pass for them. Don't have any sponsorship with them. I just like the product. So throwing it out there will be in the description. We can see here in terms of USD valuations, which helps a lot. Our NFTs are down $993 in the past 24 hours. And if we switch to 1 week, so we compare with last week's, you can see we're down on NFTs, $4,300, but on tokens up $300, and on ADA valuation in general up about $1,000. So in total, we're down for the week $2,900, but the portfolio is going to have way more volatility than this, aside from just USD valuations, but also just in general, the ADA valuations of NFTs and tokens going in and out of this portfolio. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what's in your portfolio if you haven't seen this before? And you can see here that we do have a lot of NFTs, 33,000 ADA worth of NFTs, or $33,000 worth, which is our highest holdings past our ADA and our tokens combined. It's looking pretty interesting. 62,000 US dollars is not a whole lot. This used to be worth $500,000, as I mentioned. So we have a long ways to go to be a millionaire, but I do think NFTs, although they're high risk, they're also high reward, as people speculate NFTs quite heavily, and the room for them to grow and just go to insane levels is unprecedented compared to just the native Cardano token going up, at 10 or 20x. That's a lot less likely and would take a lot more time and volume and effort than an NFT project to do the same thing. Now, right now, there's not that much liquidity in Cardano NFTs and tokens compared to other blockchains. There is still quite a bit of liquidity, but there's not an infinite amount or an amount that can keep up with all of the supply that is being pushed out there. At least on the bear market, I do think this way. A lot of NFT projects have good things going, but a lot of them are just putting in burn mechanics and kind of Ponzi-nomics that I'm not a big fan of. So most of my portfolio has been just sticking with projects that I enjoy. I like what they're building. They've built stuff, and they continue to build stuff. And a lot of these projects I also am involved with in one way or another. Something like Yummy, I am a content creator for them. And if we go to Dead Pixels, I made videos on them way back in the day. I'm not involved in the team or anything, but I am good friends with the creator, and I do have a very good feeling and just overall conviction with Dead Pixels because I personally know the creator and I watched them mint and do a bunch of cool things back in the day. As for other projects like Makasi, they've built a lot of different stuff. I have a lot of NFTs for Makasi. Tavern Squad also has built something pretty cool and an interactive raid feature. Planet Palace is building a game and they're releasing that soon. And all these other NFTs, to me, have intrinsic value and have a lot of potential to go up. So that's why I'm holding them. Honestly, I don't mess around with NFTs too much. I don't play around as much as a lot of other people in the space of NFTs, as I have been kind of just holding things I like and enjoy and I think that have high conviction in for a long time now, rather than going in a bunch of million different projects. I'm keeping it pretty straightforward and pretty much the same for NFTs. Basically, I haven't invested any more into NFTs in the past few months than I did previously, as I made a lot of investments in NFTs. They paid off, they went up. I sold a few to cover some of my initial investments back, and now I'm holding NFTs for the long term that I think are going to do well, so I can cash out later some of them and up my ADA value and up how much ADA I have in general, and also tokens. Funny enough, if I'm to sell my NFTs right now, most of them, even though they're up a lot in ADA valuation, I would still be taking a loss in terms of when I bought it back on USD valuation. For example, I used to have for 40 Macosti NFTs. I bought them around 220 ADA on average. They're now worth 400. I sold 5 of them at 750 ADA. I still have 35 left. And then shortly after, the floor price dropped back down, but even then, after calculating my profit, it was about $90 in profit. It was a lot of ADA in profit, about 5,000, but it was only $90 in profit because of the large discrepancy in ADA price and dropping heavily since I bought them back in the day. Now, in terms of tokens, majority of my holdings are in Hosky and Yummy. I did claim my Macosti recently, so this is back up and worth a bit more. The value for this is about 1,000 ADA now. Before, I only had a few hundred ADA worth. But yeah, Hosky token, it's a meme, it's funny, but it has been one of the only tokens that Cardano go consistently up, even though it's supposed to go only down. So I'm interested. I am a Hosky pool operator. If you stake with Jack Stake Pool, you can earn Hosky token. If you claim it every 5 days, you get some Hosky, and NFTs from Hosky do boost your rewards. Now, I think the token's useless and worthless, but a lot of people want to buy it and valuate it. So who knows? Dogecoin is worth a few billion, and maybe Hosky will too. Probably not, though. Don't get your hopes on that. And then Yummy token, I am obviously working with Yummy as a content creator, and I have been a long time fan of the projects, so I have quite a bit of that, and I do get paid for my advisory role in Yummy. So I have a lot of Yummy, and I have not been selling it. Then when it comes to Ding and Macosti, these are the 2 other top projects I have in NFTs, and I just get their tokens because I own the NFTs. And the rest of my positions, I don't really have much of, notably here, only a few hundred ADA worth. So it's not really things I've invested in, just things I have from ISPOs or some other interactive events that I've claimed them from. This part of the video, I now want to talk about, in general, tokens and maybe investing in other parts of the ecosystem. I mentioned in last week's video that LQ and Indy and some other, tokens based on governance don't really appeal to me, but I am kind of pulling a joke here at the same time because majority of my holdings are in Hosky token. So I don't know if you want to listen to me. I don't know if I would, but I am kind of thinking about putting some investments into other parts of the ecosystem. But really, if it's for something like LQ, which I really enjoy their platform, and Indy, I am going to be waiting until more of their token comes out. As if we look at things like MintSwap, they have a governance token and they have a great DEX. Their token generally went down quite a bit for a long time after platform launch, and then only recovered later. So going down, you're not going to be able to time the perfect bottom, but there's a lot of reasons why people don't invest at the start of a launch of a platform because the emissions are so high to drive activity to it. And that's why I will be straying away from investing too much into these platforms. And if you do and you want to, make sure looking into the tokenomics, seeing the emissions, and seeing how much of the governance token is distributed every 5 days or every month, and then calculate that with how much liquidity is actually in the token and in the general Cardano ecosystem. CapTools is a great resource for this, and you can find a lot of valuable information to decide, hey, is this going to go up or down? And maybe have some intuition as to direction based on the volume on the DEXs and also the emissions or the token and how much of it is being put into circulation every 5 days or month. At the same time, there are outliers to these rules. Something like Hosky token has a bunch of emissions every epoch. It's every 5 days people can claim it, yet it only goes up in price, it seems. It's kind of weird. And I did also mention last week I sold my AGX position. It has went down since I sold it. I sold it somehow actually near the top, which is really weird. That never happens. And likely it probably will go past and up and proceed past where I sold it. But I sold for a profit, which I haven't had any profits on tokens in 2 years. So that was kind of interesting. My ADA portfolio got a nice 5,000 ADA boost to it. And now we're sitting where we're sitting now at, if we go over here, $63,000. That kind of sounded weird, which is $6,000 less than last week. Interestingly enough, though, all things considered, in the past 6 months, I have gotten a lot more ADAs in my portfolio and also in general tokens. So we are actually up from a overall USD valuation point of view from the past 6 months. But will this continue to go up? Will this just go sideways for the next year before the Bitcoin halving comes back around and resumes the bull market? I have no idea, but I do know that I will be continuing to stack more native tokens in the Cardano ecosystem as I want to diversify here, probably selling some of my NFTs going forward. I'll update you next week, and also just getting more ADA in my portfolio. That's the main goal here. Just to briefly go over this before I end the video, my current portfolio is around these values. This is China changes. If we had a $3 USD valuation of Cardano, we'd be looking at about $500,000 worth of assets. And if we go ahead and we look at something like my gold portfolio, we'd be looking at $1 million worth of assets at a $3 Cardano, or currently worth around 350,000 ADA. If we get to these, obviously I want to have more ADA as we outlined here, and I want to bounce out my tokens with my NFTs. So that's the goal. There's going to be a ton of volatility in these trajectories and reaching these numbers, and they definitely aren't going to stay there when I reach them. So I'm just going to throw that out there. It is volatile. Cardano does not have a infinite amount of liquidity, and there's not a bunch of huge, massive whales with tens of millions or even billions of dollars to throw around. That just is not happening yet, but I do think it is coming, and Cardano's making great advancements. So I'm cool with everything going on. That's my portfolio update towards being a Cardano millionaire. Hopefully, we can see some upward projection in the next year or two to get back towards a bull cycle. But if not, stacking tokens at a low price is also great too, as long as the fundamentals stay good and my conviction stays strong with everything going on in Cardano. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in tomorrow's video. It's been your friend Jack. Peace.